Hello, it's Doris, and I'm ready for my February mid-month wrap-up, or like almost done with February wrap-up. No, I think I stopped this stack about mid-month, and I've still got another second half of February stack that's mostly Time Hopathon, so I wanted to split it up. Yeah. And actually, this one I finished in January. This one was one for Diversithon. I'm a little bit late to this party. This was a buzz book in 2016, and I was new to BookTube close to the end of the year, and I absolutely had to wait for the England cover, British cover. I don't know what the professional term for that is, but this cover is so much more stunning than the US cover. So I finally got it as soon as it was available on Book Depository. I snatched it up and I read it for Diversithon because it's on Voices and it was great. I really enjoyed the history of it. The one thing that I came away from it with was I'm always really curious as a teacher of ESL. I'm always really curious how history is taught in different countries. That just fascinates me. And here in the States, especially in the South, we are very much taught that the Civil War is not just about slavery. And sometimes I kind of wonder if that's our way of making ourselves, and I'm speaking about white people, if that's a way to make ourselves feel a little better about the issue. I don't know. But we also are taught that the African tribes did it to themselves. And that's another thing that I've always questioned. And I was kind of surprised. This book is it's not taught, it's written. I mean, it could be taught. This book is written from the two perspectives. The one sister marries a slave trader, and the other sister is sold into slavery, and it tells the story of each generation from there, one growing up in Africa and the other growing up in the United States. And yeah, this totally, the African continent side, it just made me sad because people are just bad to each other all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So they did. The African tribes sold each other into slavery, and I mean, it's definitely more to it than that, because the European slave traders kind of encouraged the hostilities between the tribes, and I mean, it has a lot to do with language, and you know, language is keeping us apart, and it's a very interesting read, definitely. And then the next one that I picked up for Diversithon is Louise Erdrich's The Roundhouse. And I picked this up at the used bookstore thinking it might work for Diversithon. And, you know, I think, you know, I'm a sucker for book award stickers. So this one won the National Book Award a few years ago. And I was pleasantly surprised to research the author and find out that it was indeed an Own Voices book. And this is about a Native American tribe. And one thing I was really happy at, I don't always love contemporary fiction, which this is, but I was pleasantly surprised, and actually another booktuber comment, I forget who, on my haul video and said I would love this, or maybe it was Instagram, said that it was written from the perspective of a 10-year-old boy, and that made it much more interesting for me. I think he was a little older, maybe 12 or something like that. But yeah, so written from the child's perspective. And the thing that I really loved about the Ohm voices is she was able to, this isn't a historical Native American culture. This is a contemporary Native American culture. And she was able to write about the powwows and tribal issues in such a delicate manner that it really intrigued me, and it just really brought the culture to life, not just as me, a tourist, watching a powwow and thinking, oh, it's so modernized. No, she really made me understand the modern Native American culture in this story, and I really enjoyed it. It's a rather surprising read. A little bit dark. I mean, the story is about rape. The mother was raped and beaten. And yeah, this was really a good book. It really was. Then I moved to a read along with Brown Girl Reading, and it was Bedrock Faith by Eric Charles May. And I just really found this book completely delightful. It says, a wonderful urban novel full of vitality and pathos and grit. I dug the everlasting hell out of it. That was Dennis Lehane. I'm not sure who he is, but anyway. I would agree with that. I loved many things about this. I loved the chapters are teeny weeny, and for some reason I really like short chapters in books. I mean, it's a huge book. Not huge, but it's not War and Peace huge, but 430 pages, which is decent. But it felt quick because of the little chapters, and the chapters were just brief little snapshots of the neighborhood life. So what it's about is Parkland, which I guess is a well-known neighborhood in Chicago, and this guy who apparently was a neighborhood problem, and he was finally arrested and sent to jail for 30 years, and he got out after, I think, 14, and came back, and he had discovered religion and was trying to pound it into the rest of the neighborhood. And problems ensue. I just really, really, really liked the characterization in here. And the author, Eric Charles May, he really does so much to make us face our stereotypes. And it's story. It's more characterizations about sexuality and religion and youth and age and those types of stereotypes. And I just really appreciated it. And he really nuances the characters, so you like them, but there's always they're very dimensional. They're none of them perfect. They all have their issues, and yeah, it just keeps you guessing the whole way through, like, wow. And sometimes you're like, these poor people, like, did that really just happen? I mean, and some of it's hilarious, and I just truly enjoyed that novel. And then we have Before the Fall by Lauren Oliver. This is a young adult, and I picked this up a couple months ago from my high school library, and I believe there's a movie coming out any day now. I was told by a couple people that this was a good movie. I mean, not a good movie, a good book. So I wanted to read it, and I kept reading it, and I wasn't liking it. The problem is, I was pretty much a nerdy goody two-shoes in high school. I just never bought into the party scene and the whole, popularity contest and not being nice to each other. I never got that, and I still don't get it. And I'm a high school teacher, and honestly, I don't get it now. I mean, I do know the parties happen, but this whole, you know, Mean Girls and Pretty Little Liars scene, I just have never been exposed to, either as a high school student or as a teacher. I just don't like reading it. It just bores me to tears because, you know, I think people are better than that. So anyway, this is 4 high school girls who are the most popular in their school, and they're mean to people. One girl especially, and the main character ends up dying. You're not really told exactly how at first, but she keeps coming back. It's like a Groundhog Day type story. She comes back 7 times, and I'm not ruining the story for you. It's on the dust jacket. But yeah, I just the premise didn't intrigue me in the first place because I don't like reading those stories where they repeat the story repeats like that, and this was 7 times. But, you know, like I said, a couple of people had told me it was really good. So I kept reading it because I thought there would be this payout at the end, this feel-good payout, and I didn't feel it. So I totally would have DNF'd this book if I hadn't been told that it was so good, and if I wasn't waiting for that, you know, payoff at the end, I would have DNF'd it. But I finished, whatever. Then I finally got to Ann Patchett, State of Wonder. I just really enjoyed this book a great deal. Truly, it's beautifully written. I love this literary fiction style. Really love beautifully worded stories. And yeah, this is a pharmaceutical company, and one of the co-workers ends up going to the Amazon to try to track down a scientist that's working on a new drug, medicine, and he ends up going missing, and so they send his co-worker to track him down. And this woman, yeah, just her time there and the scientist there, and I really liked the ending. The last paragraph just really was like, oh, yes. And I really appreciated that the author just didn't tie up all the loose ends. She tied up one of the strings. She tied that one in just this beautiful, beautiful way. And she just let the others go. And I just appreciated that so much. And it was just very impactful, very enjoyable. And I actually picked up another Ann Patchett at the used bookstore. It wasn't the one with the oranges on the cover, but I'm going to get that one eventually. And I also read The Unseen World by Liz Moore. And this one was every bit as good as the people say it is. Every bit as good. I don't know if I want to tell you any more than that, but, you know, believe the hype. It was truly, it's a slow burn, the first probably 60 pages, and you know, and it was good. If it had been that slow burn all the way through, that would have been fine because it was good. And then it ramped up around page 70, starts getting interesting, and then page 90 I just couldn't stop, and I just finished. I totally did. I sat there and finished all 442 pages. It was that good. The epilogue's a little dull, but yeah, great story. So, let me make them cute. These are my books for the first half of the month, and they were actually pretty good, except for the one. The rest were, I would say, you know, all 4s and pushing 5s. So, good month so far, and I will be back very soon to finish it off. So I'll see you then. Bye.